All right, guys, so there's a bunch of idiots out there right this second that are celebrating what Trump has done with Israel and Gaza and pretending like this is some massive victory that's going to last, when the reality could not be further from the truth. So first of all, the only good part of this is that the 20 hostages are freed on the Israeli side, but also 2,000 hostages are freed on the Palestinian side. That's the only positive thing. Everything else is hell on earth, and it's already bad, and it's going to get way worse. This was a ruse. This was a fake peace agreement is what it was. In the same way that Trump lured Qasem Soleimani for negotiations and then fucking murdered him, in the same way he did that, he now also duped Hamas and is going to absolutely blow up this agreement and pretend, just like Netanyahu will, that, Hamas was the one that broke the agreement. Absolute nonsense. All right, so let me walk you through what has already happened. Guys, Israel has already violated the peace agreement. Let me repeat. Israel has already violated the peace agreement. Let's start with this. Drop site news. Israeli soldiers torched food, homes, and critical sewage treatment plant in the wake of ceasefire announcement. Soldiers called the mass arson of Gaza City their, quote, final touches. So understand, the torching of food and homes and critical sewage treatment plant, the torching of that, without a doubt, is an attempt to continue to make Gaza completely and utterly unlivable, so they have to leave so Israel can steal all of the territory. Now, even under the fake peace agreement, even under that, Israel withdraws, but still maintains control of 60% of Gaza's territory, including the fertile lands. So it total ruse. It's a total fucking ruse. But even that's not enough, because what they want is, hey, even the people who are inside of this territory, the area that, in theory, they get to keep, even that, they're trying to ruin everything and make it so it's unlivable. All right, more. This is the reality of what Palestinians are returning to. I see some people saying, Palestinians are going home. Really? So this is their home. Take a look. Ready?
في هذه المنطقة. هذه منطقة الكتيبة شمالي مدينة خان يونس إضافة إلى مناطق أخرى سويت في الأرض كما نشاهد هذه البيوت والشوارع. الدمار يطالها بالكامل. هنا أيضا وسط المدينة. شاهد.
Everywhere he looks, something to like 80 to 90% of Gaza's buildings are destroyed. 80 to 90%. By the way, on this video alone, I have a fucking bridge to sell you if you're dumb enough to think, this was defensive and they were only going after Hamas. If you actually believe that, you might be the dumbest person on the planet. You might be the person that falls for the wallet inspector, right? You might be the person who falls for the Nigerian prince email. Because there's about 30,000 Hamas members, and there were over 2 million people in Gaza. But somehow you blew up 80 to 90% of all of the buildings in Gaza, and we're supposed to believe this was super targeted and defensive against Hamas. What a sick joke. Look at this. I'll let the video keep playing. Look at this. This is unconscionable. This is absurd. And then, by the way, of course, civil society can't function here, right? The infrastructure is completely and utterly obliterated. There's nothing left. So how you live here, I mean, it's basically like you hopped in a time machine and went back to the year 1700. You're living in old-fashioned lifestyle. Look at this. Look at this. This is ridiculous. And this is what they're returning to. And by the way, let's also say this. If anybody is celebrating at this moment, when this is what has already happened to Gaza, that takes a special kind of sickness. It really does. The idiots like that trigonometry dipshit, the idiots like Piers Morgan, who's out there and they're like singing Trump's praises. Really? Really? Even if you take the best interpretation of what they're doing with this peace agreement, even under the best interpretation, this is hardly something to fucking celebrate. But also they're lying, and so that's not what's going to happen. Anyway, let's continue. More. So get this. Here's how you know. So Israel's already violated the fake peace agreement, but they have a history and a track record of doing this, so Dropsite points out. After the Lebanon-Israel ceasefire agreement was signed, Israel launched an intense bombing campaign on southern Lebanese towns. Israel has since violated the ceasefire more than 4,500 times. 4,500 times. A journalist was on the ground in these towns where residents are attempting to return to their towns amid constant drone attacks, airstrikes, and sniper surveillance from nearby Israeli-occupied hilltops. Lofredo spoke with the mayor of this town, who is struggling to oversee rebuilding efforts under ongoing Israeli attacks, and visited Lebanese homes that were used as Israeli military bases during last year's ground invasion. So here, I'll play some of this for you. But bottom line is, there was a so-called ceasefire reached with Lebanon, and Israel has attacked 4,500 times since that ceasefire. So it's not really a ceasefire. It's you cease and we fire. That's what that means. Watch this. The Israelis adopted a scorched earth policy here and try to destroy everything in front of them. You see the bullet holes in the walls. This shop used to have a curtain, so the soldiers were suspicious and they fired 400 to 500 rounds to kill anyone who might be inside the shop. Jesus Christ. All right, so you guys get it, but ceasefire my ass. That's what the ceasefire is. All right, Ryan Grimm says the following. In the Tal al-Zatar neighborhood in Jabalia in North Gaza, sources say Israeli armed gangs, operating with the support of Israeli quadcopters, attacked Al-Ada's hospital and are detaining staff. This is after the ceasefire. This is during the so-called peace agreement. Israel seems to have prepared for the eventuality of a ceasefire by organizing proxy forces to continue fighting at a lower level. Do you understand what that means? There are literally ISIS-affiliated gangs, I'm not kidding, ISIS-affiliated gangs that Israel hired, and they paid them to go in and basically steal a lot of the humanitarian assistance that was supposed to go into Gaza. So, they didn't allow in a whole lot of humanitarian food and water and medicine and stuff like that. So they didn't allow a lot of it in. But every now and then they would send in a truck or two, right? And Israel would pay these ISIS-affiliated gangs to go and steal all the goods. Then Israel would turn around to the world and go, oh, look at that, Hamas is stealing all the goods. Total lie. They knew they were lying. They're paying these ISIS-affiliated gangs to steal it. So that's what was already happening. But now with the so-called peace deal, Israel organized with these ISIS-affiliated gangs and said, now we want you guys to do more of the fighting for us. And they pay them for it. So Israel is paying ISIS-affiliated gangs to start attacking Palestinians because there's a peace agreement. So they go, who, us? We're not even doing it, bro. It's them. Look, it's not even us. There's some inner turmoil, some inner fighting amongst different Palestinian factions. This one is dark. Israel is planning to use the missing bodies of hostages as an excuse to destroy the ceasefire. As we know, 8 to 10 deceased hostages cannot be located due to the intense bombing. Now Israel is threatening that unless these bodies are found, they will prevent reconstruction of key sites and infrastructure in Gaza, including halting building restoration projects and the introduction of civilian goods. They will block humanitarian aid and supplies, such as caravans, bakery openings, and other civil equipment. They will issue closure orders for specific areas in Gaza, stopping any work there until searches for the bodies are completed. The problem with the bodies is Israel's fault, but that will not stop it from cynically leveraging it to prevent Gazans from being able to live normal lives. The plan is clear: to keep Gaza unlivable, to facilitate ethnic cleansing, and create an excuse to open fire again to complete the genocide. So guys, this is all this stuff is already public. This is the point I'm trying to make to you guys, is that anybody taking this at face value, taking this seriously, pretending like we've reached a final peace, I mean, that's just fucking absurd and stupid. Director of Forensic Archaeology notes that Israel's withdrawal line leaves Israel in control of the absolute majority of Gaza's agricultural areas and fertile soil. So again, they're withdrawing from Gaza, but keeping 60% of the land, and that land is the most fertile land. Israel is planning to enforce an annihilation zone across the so-called yellow line inside the area it supposedly withdrew from. The instructions are to avoid killing as much as possible until the hostages return, and then, according to the battalion and brigade commanders, will begin to enforce control along the yellow line. So, yet again, I'm correct when I said the day we learned about this, fake peace agreement. That's what this is. Fake peace agreement. More. Recently posted on Instagram by an Israeli soldier, a shell inscribed with the words humanitarian aid. Aid is on the way. Bon appetit. And it's literally a missile. How's that for your ceasefire? And then finally, I'll end on this one here, but Plus 972 magazine did an investigation. Dozens of Israeli army's propaganda illustrations depicting alleged terror sites in Gaza, Iran, Lebanon, and Syria contain 3D assets taken from video game kits, an American content creator, and a Scottish maritime museum. So all the fucking 3D animations that they do, they say, oh, we got top secret intelligence which shows us what this terror compound looks like in Gaza. Completely and utterly fake. Literally jacked from video games. Insane. And then, by the way, the media is not going to cover that. You will still have the media uncritically run whatever the IDF sends them about the next thing that they attack, right? Like they'll send them another bullshit 3D thing taken from a Scottish museum, and they'll run it like, this is the top secret layer of the mega terrorist that Israel's going to take out. So this is fake. What we're witnessing is fake. I refuse to play along with this fucking ruse, this facade, this nonsense. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, I think at this point Hamas was like, we have no leverage. Like, what are we going to do? And so they gave away the last bit of leverage they did have, the 20 hostages, but they got back about 2,000 Palestinian hostages. But now, I mean, you think Israel didn't give a fuck before about who they killed? Pfft, just wait. Now it's going to ramp up, if anything. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.